welcome back to the shop. Guys, I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks. I'm excited. I got a good project here in the shop, one I've been waiting on for a while. If you guys have been following the channel for any length of time, you know I've done a ton of Oliver 550 tractor restoration videos, just different things that I fixed on this tractor. Well, this is the bush hog that came with the tractor. So I'm really excited about getting it up and running. I think my gearbox is okay, at least as near as I can tell. But I've got some decking that's rotted and got a lot of rust through and that kind of thing. So we're gonna take a look at this today and see if we can't start the repairs on this. And then ultimately what I would like to do is replace the rotted metal, get it primed, get it painted, and get it looking good and protected. It won't be able to live in the barn like the Oliver 550 will, but you know, if I can get a good paint job on it, it can live outside and not get destroyed. So I'll bring you in now and I'll let you take a good close look at it, and you'll see what I mean as far as the repairs that are needed. And first thing I think we'll do though is we'll take off the brackets and stuff, get them out of our way just so we can have a lot better time at getting this metal out of here. So you can see here, guys, we've got some surface rust. That's not too bad. A little bit of pitting up here where some of the water has stood. You can almost make out the numbers. It looks like a 9, a 6, maybe a 960, 60 representing the width in inches, and then Oliver. And I do have some stickers, though they're not the original that came with this. Now here you can really get a good look at that, all that rot. I mean, it's pretty bad. Right through there. That's where most of my rot is at. But you can see this whole area is just like super pitted. The rest of the panels, really not too bad as compared to these. This front panel is really the worst. That's obviously where a bunch of water sat for years. The rear panel looks fine. The other side, not too bad. A little more surface rust than this one, but these are solid. Nothing wrong with this. I can clean this up, put a prime job on it, and paint it. So, and then I've got also some rot right here on the side. This is the only place I believe on the side that I've got any rot, though I'll probably find a little bit more as we go along. So let's look at getting some of this stuff replaced with some good metal. I got the shear pin removed out of this, but might be difficult to see, but right here there's a washer, just a thin little washer. I can move it back, and then we have a snap ring, or a C-clip some people will call it. So we need to remove that. Okay, I'm in. You just pry it up. And there she goes. She's off right there. Now we can just pull the whole thing out. And then there's our snap ring. And there's our washer. That'll give me a chance to inspect this universal joint as well and see how things are on it. I'm kind of clean things up. It's really bad condition in here, but this may have actually gone and protected it through all the years. All right, guys, let's see what we got here. Just a bunch of crud in the top of that stump jumper. I don't know if it had a rubber gasket on there or paper gasket, or I don't know. Looks kind of crummy. Well, this is just the stump jumper, as you can see. There's how we would get one of our blades off right there, pull the cotter pin, pull the nut. A lot of trash here. We'll clean that up, that's not a problem. Well, here's what it looks like after disassembling. This side still looks pretty good. I don't see any holes on it. Took the tail wheel off. It's still essentially this front section and this side right here. So we definitely need to replace some steel right there. And there might be some back in this direction. I'm not 100% sure. I definitely need to replace this panel here. And I'm thinking maybe just the entire front panel, though aspects of this panel don't look bad. Right here doesn't look too bad, but then over there, the pitting is so deep. Pitting's deep here, it's deep here. Let's see if I can get you kind of up on that. I mean, that's like some serious pitting there. So I think we need to remove this whole panel. So let's break out the plasma cutter and let's get that panel out of there. There's my template for my next piece that I'll have to make. Here's just the initial fit. So fit up is real good. Obviously it should be, since we used the same piece we cut out. Obviously you can see the ends. I think most of you have already figured out what I'm gonna do, and have to, because my metal wasn't big enough. But I should be able to get pretty nice welds right along this angle iron up front. And then also I'll be able to put a good weld back in there. And I'll probably do a full weld on these. I may even go to the other side and weld some of that. Of course, you can see I put the hole back in. I'll clean some of that up. I got a little mess up there. Didn't stay on the line too well on that particular spot. Anyways, I've still got a lot of grinding. I'm going to have to clean all this stuff up before I ever put a weld on. But this is just a dry fit, just to see how it would fit up. Real pleased with the fit up. So now we're going to cut these little corner pieces now. Here's the dry fit up. I've got a couple welding magnets there just to kind of hold those in place, the smaller pieces. You know, they don't catch enough burrs to kind of hold in there. So not too bad. It should work out pretty good. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking right now, oh, wait a second, this is galvanized. Yeah, you're right, it is. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have to remove some of this galvanization all along the edges there, but I've got a flap disc that'll remove that really quick, and so it shouldn't be too much trouble. My biggest issue is going to be grinding all of this stuff here so that I can get a good welding surface. And then of course I'll have to do the same thing. I'll have to remove my galvanized metal along my seams and weld those up. So a little bit more of a pain, but this is what I have to work with, and so this is what we're going to use. Well, we've got it welded back in, guys. It's not the greatest welds. That metal's pretty dirty. I might actually, once I get this thing kind of where I want it, physically, I mean, I might take the stick welder and actually go right over the top of this MIG welding with a 7018 rod. But the biggest comfort to me right now is that it's on. That was a lot of work. That's a lot of welding. I didn't have to go full bead. I could have done like they did, stitch welded it. But the problem that I have in doing that is when this thing was originally put on, this piece of plate steel was all one sheet, and then the cross members get welded to the top of it. So when I cut out my piece, that also meant these other pieces were separated from this sheet. No real good way of welding it. So you can see how on the back side of this would have normally been welded on the other side, probably right in that area. So now that sags just a little bit. So I think what I'll do is I'll put my jack under there, jack that up, and I'm probably gonna run some beads on this side. And then once I get it all cleaned up, I'm probably gonna put some silicone caulk in all these joints so that I can try to do my best to keep stuff out. It's used in the automotive business, and I've done it on a bush hog or two before, and it held up pretty darn well. So once I silicone it, then I can prime over that whole thing, paint it, and that should keep for quite a few years, and it should keep this this water from just being able to infiltrate under all these little cracks and crevices and just sit there and rot stuff out. So that's the hope. You can see it's done the same thing. See a little bit of daylight on this side. So normally, again, you'd have a stitch weld on the other side, and that would have been how they'd done it. They'd have welded here, here, here on this side, and then here, here, and here on the other side. But anyways, so I'll probably, again, jack it up and do some welding on this. So now what we've got to do is we need to get this here fixed. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut this out, and we'll patch a piece in right here. I've got a little pinhole here, but there's enough weld thickness here and then on the corner here that I think I can kind of build this up a little bit. I don't think I need to extend the sheet metal there. I think what we'll do is we'll just come straight down and straight across and just make a triangular piece there. I'll cut it out first like I did this top piece, and that I'll use that as my pattern for the sheet metal. So let's get cracking on that. Well, guys, we've got the bulk of the repairs done on this bush hog, I think. So we've replaced this front panel and then, of course, the side panel. And I'll bring you guys in just a little bit closer here for the end of this video, just so you can get a good look at what we've done. Now, this isn't the end of this bush hog. I've still got to wire wheel it, and then I may even grind on some of the welds, though I don't think I probably will. And then I've got to prime it and spray it, and then I've actually got a couple stickers, believe it or not, for this. I've also got to change some bearings on the wheels and just some different things for this tail wheel. And of course the bracketry, all the bracketry will have to be painted as well. I'll do all that at the same time that I do this. So if that's something that interests you, definitely tune in for the next video. Be looking for that. Also, I want you to note that right now this is the first clip on this particular video that I've used my new camera. So I've got a new camera and a new mic system. So I'm hoping that the audio is quite a bit better, and I'm hoping that the video is quite a bit better as well. This is the setup I'm going to use for a while, I think. So I hope it works out, and I hope it's a little bit better for you in the future on some of these videos that we do. So anyways, I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks. Thanks for watching. I'll bring you in now for a little close-up, and we'll end the video after I kind of let you tool around and see what we've done to this bush hog. I realize these welds aren't particularly great, just because the steel was just so dirty. It just didn't want to weld really cleanly. But I'm going to use a real heavy enamel paint, so I'm not really concerned. That enamel paint will flow right in those little cracks and crevices and kind of take care of that for me, so I'm not going to get concerned about it. But you can see the repairs are for the most part complete, and so now we're going to put it out in the driveway and get to wire wheeling and cleaning this thing up to where we can get some primer and some paint to stick to it. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys.